students. Good morning, all of you. Once again, a warm welcome to the mobile computing online class. With this class, we are entering into the second part of the unit 2. With the previous lecture, we completed first part of the unit 2, that is CDMA, that what we discussed in the last video. So here the unit number 2 is the medium access control. In the earlier part of the unit, we discussed about this introduction about medium access control and what is the need for a specialized MAC, what is hidden terminal problem, exposed terminal problem, near and far terminal problems, and how we have to avoid and reduce these hidden terminal problems and exposed terminal problems and near and far terminal problems by using the packets like RTS and CTS frames. And then we discussed about space division, multiple access, and frequency division, multiple access, and time division, and as well as code division. So with the past class, we completed code division, multiple access. So in the space division, multiple access space is divided, and which is available to the user. And in the FDMA, frequency division, multiple access, frequency is divided and allocated for the channels to the users. For example, sender 1, sender 2, and a number of senders wants to transmit the data. So for each sender, they allocated a separate channel. They separated some particular amount of bandwidth to the sender. So n number of users at a time transmitting the data by using bandwidth, but the bandwidth is shared there for the senders. So for example, a 10 number of senders are there. They want to send the data. They used those particular medium, so the bandwidth is shared to the total 10 number of users, 10 number of senders. But coming to the TDMA, which is very flexible one for the wireless communication devices, here the time is divided to the slots. Sender uses entire bandwidth because he uses the channel at certain time period only. So time is divided into slots. Those particular slots are allocated to the user. In that particular slot only, it transmits the data. So the entire bandwidth is used by the user. So there in TDMA, we discussed about the Aloha's classical Aloha, slotted Aloha, and reservation Aloha, and CSMA, CA, collision avoidance, and CSMA CD, collision detection. So collision detection is much useful in the wired communication, but coming to the wireless, collision detection is not possible. There is some drawbacks are there. So to avoid that, we are implemented some techniques called fixed TDMA techniques, and as well as and these RTS, CTS, and frame formations we have to be using to avoid those terminal problems what we discussed in the earlier classes. So coming to the CDMA, that is code division multiple access, which uses the entire bandwidth by combining multiple signals into the one signal. So how the multiple signals are combined into one signal, that we discussed in the last video with an example. So the time is reduced, and as well as entire bandwidth is used by the CDMA. So by applying the code either both in the sender side and so after reaching to the receiver, we again applying the code, and the signal is again splitted to multiple. Okay, with that we completed the medium access channels, FDMA, TDMA, CDMA, and SDMA, and what is the need for specialized MAC, and what are the terminal problems, hidden terminal, exposed terminal, and near and far terminal problems we discussed in the part number 1. So now we are entering to the second part of the. So this is the lecture number 1. We covered introduction to MAC, hidden terminal problem, expose the terminal problem, near and far terminal problem, and SDMA. The second lecture we covered FDMA, TDMA introduction, fixed TDMA. Moving to the lecture number classical Aloha system, plotted Aloha, CSMA. Lecture number 5, last video we covered reservation TDMA and MACA. So multiple access with collision avoidance, RTS CGS frame formation. In the last video, CDMA. We covered CDMA topic. So with an example, with this example, now we are successfully enter into the second part, lecture number 7. That is wireless LANs. Wireless LAN. So here we are discussed about mobile computing and mobile communication introductions. So there guided and unguided transmission mediums are there. So guided transmission media consisting of wire like twisted pair cable or coaxial cable, fiber optical cable, it consisting of to transmit the signals. But in the unguided transmission media, it is completely the wireless data transmission mode. So here in the wireless LAN, the global goal of wireless LAN is to replace office cabling and to enable the less access to the internet and to introduce a high flexibility for ad hoc communication, for example, group meetings. So the main global goal of wireless LAN is to replace office cabling. So example, group meetings. So, and it enable the less access to the internet and to introduce a higher flexibility for ad hoc communication. For example, if you consider there is a meeting is there in an office, a n number of people are sitting around a table. So to provide a wide connection for each member is a bit difficult task. So in that room, there is a wireless communication is possible. Then it is very much flexible when compared with the wired communication. So wireless communication is the main global goal. So there are some advantages with this wireless LAN. Those are flexibility, planning, design, robustness, and cost. So these 5 are the advantages of wireless LAN. So why the flexibility is advantage for wireless LAN? So here in the flexibility, within radio coverage, nodes can communicate without further restriction. So the radio waves can penetrate walls, senders and receivers can be placed anywhere. So it also non-visible example within devices are involved. So consisting of more flexibility when compared with the wire. So wireless LANs are the most preferred good one. And the next one is planning. Only wireless ad hoc networks allow for communication without previous planning. So any wide network needs wiring plans. As long as devices follow the same standard, they can communicate. Here there is a planning is there in the wireless. So only wireless ad hoc networks allow the communication without previous planning. So any wide network, it needs wiring plans. So where we have to start, in which way we have to establish the wide connection. There is a planning is required for wide, but coming to the wireless, planning is not required there. So is the advantage for wireless LANs. The third advantage is design. So here in the wireless networks, it allows for the design of small independent devices, which can, for example, it be put into a pocket. That is the main advantage. Design. Already we discussed in the earlier classes. In the unit number 1, last topic, mobile and handheld devices. Handheld device means so you can easily carry. That's what we discussed here. So design is the best advantage of wireless LANs. So here in the wireless networks, smaller designs, easy to carry, put into a pocket. So cables not only restrict users but also designers for small PDAs, notepads, laptops, mobile phones. So all these are the examples. design is the one of the best advantage of wireless LAN. And next one is the robustness. So wireless networks can survive disasters. Example, earthquakes or a user pulling up like that. For example, if there is any disasters are happened there in any locations, there is mostly the wide connections are destroyed. It's a bit difficult task to establish wires in this disaster situation. There we carry easily, we can carry these wireless communication devices and we can establish a wireless network to avoid different disaster situations. So that is the main advantage, robustness. So in difficult situations like earthquakes, tsunamis, in that situations, which is very most useful one. So if the wireless devices survive, people can still communicate. Networks requiring a wide infrastructure will usually break down completely in the situations like earthquakes. So the wide is break down completely. So in that situation, if we use wireless plans, that is very much useful to the users. So that is one of the best advantage. And next one is the cost. So after providing wireless access to the infrastructure via an access point for the first user, so adding additional users to a wireless network will not increase the cost. For example, in your home, you are prepared to put a wide connection. You are ready to connect with a wide connection. So one user in your home connected with one connection. If the second user wants connection, again you require a cable, again you require a pin. So that increases the cost. But if you observe, coming to the wireless, once you have fixed the device in your home, so number of people are connecting to that device, so without additional any connection charges. If it is a wide connection, you require additional wire, additional pins, so it increases cost of the user. But coming to the wireless, once you have fixed the device, so number of people, there is a possibility of number of people use that medium so to communicate. So this is the important advantage of wireless LANs. So example, lecture halls, hotel lobbies, or gate areas in airports where the number using the network may vary significantly. So these five are the best advantages of wireless LANs. Those are flexibility, very much flexible, easy to carry. Planning, no addition, exact planning is not needed for the wireless LANs. And design, so and robustness, and as well as cost. So these are the advantages of wireless LANs. But there are some disadvantages also there for wireless LANs. The first one is the quality of service. Whatever the service provided by the wide network, that is good when compared with wireless, because in between there is a possibility of data loss. uh, in some situations there is a kind of disconnect problems. Something will happen for wireless, but coming to the wide, which is good in quality point of view when compared with wireless. So quality of service is one of the disadvantage for wireless. So the main reason for this are the lower bandwidth due to limitations in radio transmission. Example, only 1 to 10 megabytes per second user data rate instead 100 to 1000. So higher error rates due to interference and higher delay variation due to extensive error correction and detection mechanisms. So quality of service is one of the disadvantage of wireless LANs. And next one, proprietary solutions. Due to slow standardization procedures, many companies have come up with proprietary solutions offering standardized functionality plus many enhanced features. So typically a higher bit rate using a penetrated coding technology or a special inter-access point protocols like that. So that's why that is one of the disadvantage. And coming to the restrictions, all wireless productions have to comply with the national regulations because there is a possibility of hackers and some others connected with this wireless, and there is a possibility of miscommunications are done there in the wireless. For that purpose, it has to follow completely the national regulations. So several government and non-government institutions worldwide regulate the operations and restrict frequencies to minimize interferences. So to minimize interferences and restrict the frequency levels, so there's a bit of restrictions are there for wireless when compared with wired. And safety and security. So using the radio waves for data transmission, it might interfere with other high-tech equipment. Example, hospitals, senders and receivers are operated by laymen, and radiation has to be low. So safety and security. If it is a wide connection, there is a less amount of less possibility of disconnection. But if you are using a wide wireless communication, there is a possibility of reducing problems, and as well as signal drop problems that happened there in the wireless. So when those are using in the hospitals, in the operation theaters, it's a big problem for that purpose. So that is one of the disadvantage for wireless LANs. And next one is the global operation. So wireless LAN products should sell in all countries. So national and international frequencies regulations have to be considered. So national and international frequency regulations it have to consider while globally. So that is one of the global operations. And low power devices communicating via a wireless LAN are typically also wireless devices running on battery power. So when compared with wireless are using the battery power. So the LAN design should take this into account and implement special power saving modes and power management functions for wireless. So that is one of the disadvantages. So an additional power saving modes and additional power management functions as to implement for this wireless LANs. So mostly depending on the battery power. And license free operation, there is a possibility of n number of users communicating by the wireless. So LAN operators do not want to apply for a special license to be able to use the product. So the equipment must operate in a license free band such as the 2.4 GHz ISM band. So that is the one disadvantage, license free operations in the wireless LANs. And robust transmission technology compared to their wide counterparts, wireless LANs operate under difficult conditions. If they use radio transmission, many other electrical devices can interfere with them. That's what we discussed in the earlier. So if you are using wireless transmission for data packet transmission, there is a possibility of packet loss, and some miscommunications are also happened there in the wireless communication. That is a robust transmission technology and simplified spontaneous cooperation. To be useful in practice, wireless LAN should not require a complicated setup routine, but should operate spontaneously after power off. Once power is off, it's not working. Automatically, when power is on, it connected directly. These LANs would not be useful for supporting, example, ad hoc meetings. So that is one of the disadvantages, and easy to use. In contrast to huge and complex wireless LANs are made for simple use. They should not require complex management, but rather work on a plug and play basics. So everyone are using this. And protection of investment. A lot of money has already been invested into wide LANs. The new wireless LAN should protect this investment by being interoperable with the uh, exciting networks. So already there is a possibility of so money is invested in the wider lands. Now, if you are planning for wireless, so it destroys the existing networks. So being improp- interoperable with the existing networks. So this is one of the disadvantage of protection of investments. Next is safety and security. So wireless LAN should be safe to operate, especially regarding low radiation of used. So example, in hospitals, user cannot keep safety distance to antennas. So this is one of the disadvantage. And next, transparency for applications. The existing applications should continue to run over wireless LANs, the only difference being a higher delay and lower bandwidth. The fact of wireless access and mobility should be hidden if it is not relevant, but the network should also support location-aware applications, example by providing location information. So transparency is not good when compared with wide. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of the wireless LAN. So flexibility, planning, design, robustness, and cost. These are the advantages for the wireless LAN. Quality of service, property solutions, restrictions, safety and security, global operation, low power, license-free operation, robust transmission technology, and simplified spontaneous cooperation, and easy to use, protection and investment, safety and security, and transparency for applications. So these are the disadvantages for wireless LAN. Now, IEEE 802.11. So very important one, IEEE 802.11. So the IEEE standard 802.11. So IEEE, that is a IEEE 9. So the IEEE standard 802.11 specifies the most famous family of wireless LANs in which many products are available. So which is the best one for if we are discussing about wireless LANs, generally we discussed about IEEE 802.11. IEEE 802.11 is the best standard one for wireless LANs. As the standards number indicates, the standard belongs to the group of 802.x LAN standards. Example 802.3 Ethernet or 802.5 is the token ring. 802.3 is the Ethernet and 802.5 is the token ring. So the standard number indicates the standard belongs to the group of 802.x LAN standards. So this means that the standard specifies the physical and medium access layer adapted to the special requirement of wireless LANs, but offers the same interface as the others to highly lace to the maintainer interoperability. So as what we discussed there in the protection of investments. So interoperability is the main thing here in the 802.11. So that means, so interoperability, it can operate from some other location. So the primary goal of the standard was the specification of a simple and robust wireless LAN which offers the time bounded and asynchronous services. So the MAC layer should be able to operate with multiple physical layers, each of which exhibits a different medium, sense, and transmission characteristics. But the candidates for physical layers were infrared and spread spectrum radio transmission techniques. So these are the infrared and spread spectrum radio transmission techniques we have to be using in the IEEE 802.11. So So the additional features of wireless LAN should include the support of power management to save battery power and the handling of hidden nodes and the ability to operate worldwide. But the 2.4 gigahertz ISM band, which is available in most countries around the world, was chosen for the original standard. So that's why the 2.4 gigahertz ISM band is the worldwide so original standard. The data rates investigated fourth standard were 1 mbits for mandatory and 2 mbits for operational. So the following these are the sections will introduce the system and protocol architecture of initial IEEE 802.11 and then discuss each layer, the physical layer and the medium access. After that, the complex and very important management functions of the standard are presented. And finally, this subscription presents the enhancement of the original standard for higher data rates like 802.11a up to 54 megabits per second and 5 gigahertz and 802.11b. Today, the most successful with the 11 megabits per second together with the further development for security support and as well as urbanization or other modulation schemes. So 802.11a and 802.11b. For 802.11a up to 54 megabits at 5 gigahertz speed. 802.11b is the 11 megabits per second. So this is the system architecture for the IEEE 802.11 and these are the protocol architecture for IEEE 802.11. So we discuss it in the next class, system architecture and protocol architecture of the IEEE 802.11, that is the wireless LAN. So in this lecture we discussed about wireless LAN. That's why here the wireless LAN are IEEE 802.11. 802.11 is the best one in wireless LANs. So in wireless LAN advantages, disadvantages, and introduction to IEEE 802.11 is the best wireless LAN. So it is divided into two